Your healthiest choices at the grocery store are frozen food, okay, then fresh, and what we call whole foods, grains, pastas, rice, vegetables, fruits, dried fruit, nuts, beans, grains. These are the kinds of things, these are the types of foods that you really want to make sure you're including in your daily nutritional regimen.
Well, Myra, we thank you so much. It's a fascinating subject and one that's near and dear to all of our hearts. Yes. Obviously, we all have to eat.
Yes.
And so it really stands to reason that we need to eat in a way that sustains our life in a healthy manner.
Absolutely, and it is possible. A lot of people are under the illusion that it's not even possible, but it absolutely is possible.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I understand that you're going to be giving some classes soon, or?
Actually, I am putting together a website, and the name of the website is going to be called 28 Days to Infinity. And it will be dealing with diet and nutrition, weight loss, weight maintenance, and anti-aging information, the types of supplements you need to take where you can extend your life 10, 20 years.
That sounds good to me.
Yes, I am very excited.
Thank you for being here with us, Myra.
Thank you.
All right. Today we're going to talk about a subject that a lot of you know about and some of you may not have heard about, and it's called veganism. And we're very pleased to have with us today Miss Melanie Allen. Hi, Melanie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Melanie is an owner and a chef at Cafe Seed, which specializes in vegan dishes. So I think my first question, Melanie, is going to be, what is veganism?
A very good question, one that answer a lot. A lot of people are a bit more familiar with vegetarianism. Veganism is simply a plant-based diet, a diet that does not include any animal products. So it's dairy-free, free of cheese, milk, eggs, as well as all the meat, fish, and other things associated with vegetarianism. So that's basically, in a nutshell, that's a vegan diet.
Okay. Describe to me why somebody might make that as an eating choice.
There are so many different reasons that people become vegan. I'll definitely give you mine, and which I think is one that's very common, especially in communities of color. When I was 13 years old, was diagnosed with a chronic illness, a digestive illness. And it's something that I was living with for a long time and was on many, many medications since I was 12, 13 years old. And when I began to be responsible for my own health, moved out of my parents' homes, and figuring out how it was that I was going to live with this chronic illness, I started doing some reading and some research and learned a lot about the restorative nature of foods and the way that they just are able to help our bodies function a lot better. And I started off as a vegetarian, so cut meat out of my diet, and noticed the difference in terms of digestion. I wasn't having as many flare-ups of my condition, and from there progressed to veganism, and now my condition is pretty much totally under control. So for me, it was a matter of health and really learning about the health benefits and aspects of your diet and how much we can really control just by watching what it is that we put inside of our bodies.
Fascinating, and really a great reason to take up the vegan lifestyle when it improved your health so much. When you described what being a vegan entails, which is no dairy, and other kinds of things, because some of us love our cheese and that kind of thing. So I was intrigued, and as you know, you participated in the March 27th event that we had at Paseo High School, and we had tasting stations where people could partake of food that did not include any animal matter whatsoever. And in that tasting that I participated in, I was absolutely delighted with all of the delicious flavors that you can get. And so my question to you that others may be wondering is, how do you get all the different flavors that we've all come to love, you know, the flavor of meats and the flavor of cheeses and so forth? How do you get those flavors and be a vegan?
Well, there are many, many ways. That's a question I always love to answer, and I always answer with another question. What's your favorite entree? You say your favorite thing to prepare just from your regular diet.
Okay, you're talking to somewhat of a foodie here. So when you talk about favorite, you know, I eat a lot of poultry and fish. And so I do like chicken dishes. So I probably would put that out.
With the chicken dish, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the majority of people who are eating chicken would not enjoy it if it weren't for the herbs and the vegetables that are part of the preparation process. And what we've done is really kind of taken those flavors that we're accustomed to, many of them which are plant-based anyway, the basil or rosemary, the onions, whatever it is that you put to give that savory flavor to your meat dishes, and put them into basically the preparation of vegetable-based dishes. So it may be to complement the flavor of another vegetable. It may be something that's more of a soy-based product that kind of is masquerading as something that's more familiar. In our cafe, we serve a chicken biscuit, which is not chicken at all, of course. It is a patty that's made from beans and that's breaded, but when it's flavored, because the preparation, the herbs, and the dressing that's used is very similar to traditional things that we use to prepare chicken, when you taste it, it tastes just like home, just like a chicken patty that you would be accustomed to having every day. And really what we've strived to do is to bring back home the fact that you can eat healthily, everyone can eat healthily, and we don't have to sacrifice the kind of culture of food that we've become accustomed to. We can still get that.
Okay, I had one dish that was called, or an entree that was called Just Like Sunday Dinner.
Just like Sunday dinner.
And it was riblets, and that's in quotes, riblets and rice and greens.
Right.
And I was simply amazed because the riblets had the consistency of a meat rib, but it wasn't meat at all. And the flavor was smoky and good, and yet that was not meat.
That's, again, basically a perfect example of what we've been able to do. Barbecue sauce, any type of rich barbecue sauce, is going to start with some kind of vegetable, be it a tomato base, something going on there. We saute peppers, onions to get a really, really rich flavor, and of course add brown sugar and all those things that make barbecue sauce barbecue sauce. But in dealing with texture and consistency, there are many, many ways that you can play with vegetables to really kind of trick your imagination, and it makes you feel like you're eating meat. And for people who are hesitant or don't know a lot about veganism, this is a very comfortable place for them to start, to say, oh, this is something that may not be so difficult, may not be so far out there, and maybe something that I can actually try or do on a regular basis. Our motto is vegan food so good 3 out of 4 of our customers are meat eaters, and that's the truth, because we've made it a point to make sure that this isn't something that's on the fringe. We're not going to yell or scream at you if you're not vegan all the time. We welcome all people and just really believe that all people can eat well, and that this is a wonderful introduction to that.
Well, it certainly is. And so Cafe Seed is the name of your establishment, and what's that address?
We're located at 2932 Cherry Street, right here in Kansas City.
Well, I'll tell you, the tasting that I had there was delicious. I took home some tacos to my husband, and he consumed them in a matter of minutes.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, it was really good. So now we're going to take a little trip over to Cafe Seed, and you're going to show us some of the parallels between the foods that we're all used to eating and how we can do that as a vegan.
Absolutely.
All right, I look forward to it. Let's go.
We're going to start out with something very, very simple. Very few people think about it. But something as simple as your morning juice can really, really change the way that you eat and increase your health. We're going to be doing some fresh squeezed orange juice today. It's so simple. Not quite as simple as just pouring from a carton, but you'll definitely be able to taste the benefits and feel the benefits as well. So start out with just some oranges. I've sliced them in half, and this is an amazing hand juicer. We tried electric, but found that we love our hand juicer. So, and just squeeze. all the beautiful juice comes out. Let's see. I'll try one more. Okay. And I'm going to turn it around just so I can get it a little faster. And you'll of course taste the difference in your fresh squeezed juice, but the other benefit that you have is knowing that when you're drinking orange juice, you're actually drinking just the juice of an orange. When you get your carton, it takes a considerable amount of time to get it from, you know, picking the orange to juicing the orange to being in your refrigerator. And so there are a lot of things that are added in there to make it taste fresh when it gets to you. So you'll have some sugar in there as well as some other chemicals to keep it fresh and preserved. And this way you know that you're just drinking the juice of an orange and nothing else. And you'll be able to taste the flavor as well. It's a simple trick. The other benefit to this juicer, I use it for all citrus juicing, and as we said a little bit earlier, lemon juice is a wonderful ingredient that you can use in baking in place of eggs as a binding ingredient. I use it in my cheesecakes, so this is just a wonderful tool, a great addition to any kitchen. This juicer actually, I think, was actually produced here in Kansas City in 1917. It's been going strong ever since, but it's one of our most important tools in our kitchen and definitely make your breakfast a whole lot better. Let's see. And to go with your fresh squeezed orange juice, we're going to make a very simple recipe today, familiar to most of us. It's a recipe for blueberry muffins, and we've just done some simple substitutions to make it vegan and a lot healthier. We start, of course, with just flour. We're just using today 2 cups of organic unbleached flour. You can use various different types of flours. If you have a gluten intolerant, you can do rice flour instead. Sometimes I do half whole wheat and half white flour just so that it won't be so dense, but you can have those health benefits of whole wheat flour. But this is 2 cups. We'll just get it all in there. And even though we're a bit healthier, we are still going to use some sugar. This is 1 cup of vegan cane sugar. Of course, sugar comes from sugar cane, which is a plant. Many people ask, how can sugar be vegan? It's not the plant that you're worried about, it's the process of making it into granulated sugar. A lot of times they use animal products, kind of bones and things like that, to grind it down and to separate the sugar. If you have vegan sugar, then what you know is that it hasn't been processed using animal products. And of course, we know that we're cooking without dairy today, so our milk substitute is just a simple soy milk. As you can see here, this is half a cup of soy milk. We'll add it in there. And we're replacing our egg with applesauce. This is organic, unsweetened applesauce. It's very important that when you're doing this replacement that you get the unsweetened. You don't want cinnamon applesauce or any kind of flavored, just plain. And the apples are great in that they moisten everything without being an overpowering flavor. So we're just going to dump, this is half a cup of organic, unsweetened applesauce. And we'll get all of that out of there. We also know that we're not doing traditional butter. We do have our butter. This is kind of vegan butter that we use, but it's made out of vegetable oil instead of your animal or goat milk, and it works wonderfully. You get kind of the benefits of the butter, which is bringing everything together, binding everything, but you don't have the high cholesterol that you generally have. And then other simple ingredients. This is a tablespoon of baking powder. I'm just going to add that. This is a teaspoon of vanilla, pure vanilla. You can do vanilla extract if that's what you have on hand, but that's just for flavor. Then this is just a pinch of salt. I'll do 2 pinches. This is coarse sea salt. You can use whatever you like, but it's just a pinch to help with the flavor. And I like to mix it by hand. If you have a hand mixer and you prefer to do that, you definitely can, but it doesn't take that much. And we're just kind of mixing our ingredients till they start to look like a muffin batter. Okay, so when your batter looks nice and all put together like this, it's a nice kind of light brown color, it's time to add your blueberries. Mix it a little more. These, of course, are everyone's favorite ingredient. I'm using frozen today. It depends on the time of the year. You can use fresh blueberries. One of the benefits of using the frozen blueberries is that they kind of stay together, so they won't be as messy when it bakes. You'll be able to tell the difference between your muffin and the blueberry. If you use fresh ones, I think that they're glorious. It tastes wonderful, but of course your muffins are going to be a little messier. Let's see. And this is about 1.5 cups, a little more than a cup of blueberries. And I like to just fold the blueberries in there, so get them nice, but don't really break them up too much. So we've just mixed these together with our little scraper. We don't want to break the blueberries, of course, but they're all mixed in good together, and they're about ready to go in the oven. You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and we'll bake them for about 25 minutes. Check them, and you know, if they're not quite ready, then give it maybe about 5 minutes more, but about 25 minutes at 350 degrees, and you'll be ready for your muffins. Well, it's just that simple, and in 25 minutes, you have your delectable blueberry muffins, and we've cut out a lot of fat and cholesterol, but still have the same great taste.
Veganism, who knew that you could eat so well and it could taste so good and there are absolutely no animal products in the food? It's been an interesting experience today. We thank you so much for joining us here on The Green Zone. We'll see you next time.